Rob?
Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and I'm sure you've clicked on this video right now seeing Geoff Johns and DC Collectibles and a guy by the name of Jim Fletcher at the head of this video. This is a haul video, more along the lines of a QC haul video. What this is a response that I got via Twitter and then a few emails from Geoff Johns himself. As you see my Green Arrow figure, I've had him for I think over a year now, maybe probably going on two, maybe it's been a year. From the Justice League line, the New 52 DC Collectibles, and this was one of the first figures where they started using some clear pegs or clear joints into the figures. Killer Croc from the Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham City action figure had the clear pegs in the arm sockets. That things were starting to break. Some different processes that DC Collectibles was doing to make their action figures. So fast forwarding up to just about a week ago, that I was watching on YouTube and saw Rez the Collector. If you haven't checked out his channel, definitely check it out. I'm going to put it in the description below. His Superboy had broken right at the leg, and my Green Arrow had recently broken as well. I'll kind of show them to you here. If you've seen the Rogue show, here is the clear peg you can see right there. So the peg completely snapped on itself just by me simply moving the leg of the figure. I was going to try to put him into a pose, and the leg snapped, or that clear peg did. So he's been able to, you can see I've have him to stand here. Got to put him on a base, and I haven't glued him yet. And this was always something that I was meaning to write DC Collectibles, or at some time had never gotten around to it. And then I saw Rez's Superboy with the broken leg, and I don't know if the kid in me was like, okay, that's it. So I sent a tweet out to Geoff Johns, and the slide will be up here. I don't have it readily available in front of me. I'm trying to pull it up really fast as I am talking to you right here. You think I would be better prepared. But anyway, the tweet, oh, here we are. I have it up here right now. It says, I have it to Geoff Johns. Let's see if I can get it on the computer here for you guys to see. You can look at my computer. So here is my tweet to Geoff Johns. I don't know what you can do, but hard-earned money not well spent on a clear plastic joints on figures. This is actually a picture of the Rez's figure. Now, if I just took a screenshot of this on my phone, so you can't see it, but you will see the actual broken figure. I was at work and I didn't have Green Arrow in front of me. But after this, Geoff Johns private messaged me. We'll go back to Green Arrow here really quick. He private messaged me, and it does have his personal email address on there, so I'm not going to give that out, as I don't think it was something he just wants readily available. I'm not going to be that guy. But we were corresponding back and forth, and in a couple emails, I told him about my Green Arrow figure that had broke, about the same type of things that were wrong with the two figures, and I can read you the response. This is from Geoff Johns. Said this is probably after 2 or 3 emails back and forth. It says, you should be getting a note from the creative head of DC Collectibles, Jim Fletcher, who is amazing. Quality is our #1 priority along with the fans. Jim will be sending out some figures. I appreciate your patience and thanks for the support. Best, Geoff. Which I thought that was really cool that I got an actual email from Geoff Johns himself. Probably about a day later, I got this email from Jim Fletcher. It says, hi Rob, I wanted to let you know that I am very disappointed that your figure fell apart like that. We go through a number of samples and stages here and overseas to check for issues like this. I'm a collector myself, so I understand how disappointing that can be. Geoff forwarded me some of your impressive collection, and I did send him a picture of a lot of my New 52 and Batman Arkham figures that I sent to Geoff Johns to kind of say, hey, we're collectors, and it's really disappointing to kind of be spending the $20 on an action figure, and then as soon as you get it out of the package, there's a bent leg, or DC Collectibles hadn't been having those type of problems in a while, so I was just kind of expressing my, kind of disappointment. It kind of alluded to being like a kid at Christmas, or compared it to being like a kid at Christmas. And, you've wanted this favorite toy from Santa Claus and you get it, and the instant you pull it out of the box, it's broken. And it makes you kind of second guess whether this is a line you want to continue to support. So the rest of Jim's email says, if I can see where I left off, Geoff forwarded some of your picks of your impressive collection, and I wanted to make sure that these figures have a spot there as well. To make sure that the Superboy figure will not break when removed from the package, we have pre-removed all the wire ties for you. At this time, we do not have a Green Arrow in-house to send you, but we will be sending you all 3 of the Teen Titans figures tomorrow. Let me know if there are any problems, and hope you will continue to support our collector's line. Thanks for reaching out to us on this issue. All the best, Jim Fletcher, Director Creative Services, DC Collectibles, DC Comics. That just spoke volumes to me. So what you're going to see here is a package that arrived. I'm about 3 or 4 days late getting this video up. Rez already has his Superboy. So since his Superboy was the one that was in question, the replacement of the Superboy figure, I sent immediately back out to Rez, and he and I discussed that, hey, you went above and beyond. We weren't even sure if they were going to send anything or if they were just going to send out a heartfelt apology. But when they went above and beyond this to send out Superboy, they overnighted this package next day mail. So you'll hear me say in the video that's going to be right after this that it was like 9 p.m. my time, probably 5 or 6 their time, that it was one of the last packages they mailed out that day. And almost exactly 12 hours later, there was a knock at the back door and the package showed up. So less than almost probably closer to 24 hours, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. We'll just argue and we'll say it was about 18 hours later the package of the 3 figures shows up. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you, and then this will go into the unboxing and everything that goes along with it, and you can kind of hear me talk about it, and we'll look at the other figures. But I just kind of want to give us a little bit of intro, and something I say all the time, no matter if it's action figures or a lawnmower or pots and pans, whatever it is, manufacturers will put their contact information on the box or the packaging or in the instruction manual somewhere. And I always recommend that you, if you're going to call, be polite, do the whole yes sir, thank you sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am, all that type of stuff. I was always told at a young age you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So if you're somebody that's always slamming your fist on the table saying Mattel sucks or DC Collectibles sucks, and I don't know why we're putting up with this crap, if you take that avenue with whoever the manufacturer is, you probably won't get treated very well. And if you're just very heartfelt about the situation, 9 times out of 10, these places want you to continue to keep buying their products, be it an action figure or be it a bottle of water or a pen. So there you go. Just be polite, be nice, be yourself. That's the best thing I can say. And in doing this and writing a couple emails back and forth with Geoff Johns and Jim Fletcher, this package showed up, like I said, the very next day. They airmailed it to us, which they didn't have to do. And the Rez and I were kind of made whole. Granted, I don't get a replacement Green Arrow. They didn't have one in-house. But I was able to pick up 2 other figures that I didn't even realize was coming. So until I had read this email. So I'm going to quit rambling here. We'll go into the video that I just shot, and you can kind of see and hear me talk about these figures. So I kind of want to do this little intro, and I'm going to try and glue this guy and get him back on the shelf, and maybe at some point I will actually pick up a replacement for this Green Arrow. But he's standing right now on a base, and that'd be the other thing. It'd be nice if they put these bases back so figures don't want to take a dive, but hey, there you are. Now stay tuned for the video that is going to happen in 3, 2, 1. Okay, depending on how I edit this together, I'm just setting up the camera to get to the unboxing. I know right now as I'm doing this, I'm going to have a video intro talking about how and what this is, so you've probably already seen that, but depending on how I edit this. So Rob, let's shut up, let's get this box opened, because actually right now my wife and I are ready to go have supper. So this just showed up. It could have been here for a half hour or so. I didn't check the back door and our doorbell's broken. Right now, people are saying, Rob, shut up, open the box. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So, of course, I've got some of my pertinent stuff on here. Again, I was just emailing guys from DC Collectibles. Last night, my time was about 9 o'clock. So you figure from where they are in California, where this came from, that should say something. This was overnighted. So here we go, Rez. Let's see what's in here. And man, they really taped this booger up. So bear with me here. I'm having to reach way out past the camera so I can get this whole thing in frame here. So again, from DC Collectibles, as you've already seen in the beginning part of this video. I'm just waiting for my backdrop to come crashing down on me, so you can see the cheesy backdrop that I use, what it's actually made of. I am bumping the camera all over the place. I apologize. Trying to get this big box into frame. So I can see the whites of the package. So here we are. Box open. Let's take a look at what's inside. There we are. There is Superboy. You can see him clearly right there. Wonder Girl. And there is Kid Flash. So what I'm actually doing right now is opening this up. And some of my other fellow YouTubers are wanting to see some pictures. So you're actually probably going to see me half take a picture. And maybe you won't. So here, the figure in question is Superboy. These were handpicked by Jim Fletcher, who is the head of the creative department for DC Comics, DC Collectibles. There is Superboy. The paint actually looks really good. I'll explain in a little bit. I'm just kind of doing this quick unboxing so you can see what I have here, and we'll get into further detail in the next part when I turn the camera back on. So there is Superboy. Wonder Girl. Wow, she looks fantastic. Check that out. Again, I apologize for this first set of pictures you're seeing here. Again, all wire ties have already been pre-taken out by DC Collectibles for me and Rez. And Kid Flash. Wow, very, very cool. So that is all that is in here. There's some packing foam. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera off. I'm actually going to go to supper, but when you guys are watching in the next couple seconds, you will see these guys up closer, with the exception of Superboy, and I'll explain why in just a little bit. We'll be right back. Okay, we're taking a look at the Superboy figure here. Again, these were the ones that were sent to me. Now, this one is going to Rez, as I'm zoomed in really close. Now, what I've done here, this is actually for Rez to take the figure out of. All I did was slip him out of his actual box. So as you can tell, he is still in the package and everything. Now what DC Collectibles did for me and for Rez, that they removed all of the wire ties for us already. I said that way we don't have to fight with the wire ties. So Jim Fletcher, the head creative director at DC Collectibles, physically touched all of these figures and then replaced them back in personally himself after they removed all the wire ties, and he inspected the figures personally. There are a little bit of silver Rez that you were kind of talking about earlier. Like again, I can't see the back of the figure. I'm not going to take him out. I'm going to leave that for you. He also recommended that you might want to take a pair of scissors and just kind of cut some little marks in here to kind of make the plastic a little bit more pliable rather than trying to push the figure through. He said, they try to vacuum package the figures the best that they can, so that way they're not bouncing around during shipment and things like that. So again, I think it's pretty cool that they went through all three of these figures and looked at them themselves to ensure the best quality for us. Now, obviously, they didn't paint these, so I'm assuming that all these are probably painted the best that they possibly could. And you can kind of see, if I can get in here a little bit, let me turn some extra light on. Some fingerprint smudges once we get down there, just probably from the oil from Jim's fingers, so you can kind of tell. I mean, it's not horrible or bad, that'll come right off. But I want to get in close to the figure here the best you can, at least for you, Rez, so you can see the condition of this guy before you get him, so that way you know everything is all on the up and up. Again, I'm not going to remove him from the packaging at all. Kind of make you zoom in. The S shield seems to be pretty good. It looks like just this spot right over here, the red is not as predominant, that little tail end. But he seems to be painted fairly decent. I mean, there's a little bit of blemish there in this part of the S right there. It's not so noticeable far back, granted I'm zoomed up quite a bit. There you can see this is just the oil from his finger. Right here, a little bit of extra, probably imperfections. The silver that I saw, actually I'm not really seeing the silver, must have been the light, a little bit, a teeny tiny right there, and a little spot there. I know yours was plagued by quite a bit of the silver paint showing through. So granted, I'm zoomed in really close to this, but we'll continue to go down. I mean, the legs aren't horrible at all. Granted, this is really, really super close, and I'll get a shot from a little bit farther away. So I just wanted you to be able to see this Rez as I drop. This really isn't showing you much of anything. So let me get this back to a normal viewing mode here. So there is Superboy, so you kind of see him. I mean, he looks really fairly good. So hopefully that works. So I'm doing the individual reviews of Wonder Girl and Kid Flash. But Rez, this guy is going right into the package to you right now. And I'll end up doing an overview of the other two figures here in just a little bit, so you can kind of see them a little bit more close up, and then a proper review of all these figures will be on YouTube. But if you want to see the review of this guy, you'll have to go to Rez's channel, and he will probably end up reshooting a whole another review for this personal figure that got sent to us by Geoff Johns via Jim Fletcher, the head creative director at DC Collectibles. So I think Rez and I are going to be really pleased with these figures here, that the not only the care and attention to the problems that we were having with these figures, and just DC Collectibles as a whole, I think they know that there's a few QC issues. Well, some would say a few, some would say a lot, but some QC issues that hopefully can be rectified. And I must say it a million times on my channel, the nicer that you could say things to people, the greater sometimes your result could be. The only thing that I think Rez and I were expecting out of this is them to just look at the QC issues and say, oh, we're very sorry, we'll try and make sure we get a better handle on that. And maybe they were just going to replace Rez's figure. And I'd also mentioned that I had a Green Arrow figure that was broken. They didn't have the Green Arrow, but as kind of a consolation prize, they sent the other two Teen Titans figures, which I did not expect them to do. So I'm going to shut the camera off right now, put this guy back in his box, and I'm heading up to the post office to mail this out to you, Rez. And then the next couple seconds, you will see Kid Flash and Wonder Girl. So
all
we'll
right, this is going to be the end of the haul here. It's actually a day later for me. This is Sunday. Saturday was the last part that you just saw with Superboy. So I haven't had a chance to do this little portion yet. So basically here are the two figures that I am now left with. Green Arrow was the other figure I mentioned in my letter to Geoff Johns, my tweet or whatever. And they didn't have any Green Arrows on hand. So he said to kind of make up for that, not being able to kind of be able to replace Green, I said Lantern, Green Arrow. I think I said Green Arrow. Green Arrow. They said we'd like you to, we will send you the completed Teen Titans wave. So talk to Rez. He's like, hey, I wouldn't have gotten a replacement Superboy. He's like, you have been talking about the Wonder Girl and Kid Flash. So if you want to keep both of them, that's perfectly fine with me, he said. So Rez, I guess thank you for having a broken figure and then me having a broken figure, and we kind of tackled this head on. Even though I kind of, put the initial step forward to do this, that was so cool of DC Collectibles to send us. They could have just sent us, the Superboy figure, and I would have sent that to Rez like I did. And they could have said, well, we don't have a Green Arrow figure, but here's a voucher or something like that. But that they went ahead and took those extra steps to remove the wire ties for us and gave us some little tips and tricks to get the figures out, because they are vacuum packaged in here pretty good. So, during shipment, the figures aren't going to be flopping around. But because of that, they're kind of in there a little tight. So he suggests about, cutting some, relief marks in the plastic so the plastic kind of separates and opens a little bit. So what I'm actually going to do right now, this is going to end the haul video from Geoff Johns and Jim Fletcher, and I'm going to go right into the review. So what you'll see here is if you watch this video and then go right into the very next video, we will go right into Wonder Girl, then after that will be Kid Flash. And depending on how soon Rez gets his figure, you may be able to tune into Rez's channel and see him review the Superboy figure as well. So I am just, again, I'm blown away by what Geoff Johns and then Jim Fletcher. Geoff Johns kind of sent him the email and tweet that I sent Geoff Johns, sent that over to Jim Fletcher, the creative director over at DC Collectibles. And he handled Rez and I from there. So it's just been really good. So everybody that's like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed with DC Collectibles. Again, my mother always said you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, meaning the more nice and PC, the more that you're banging your fist on the table saying DC Collectibles sucks or Mattel sucks or whatever toy line it is, the more you start bashing said toy line or whatever it is, be it a lawnmower or a car. They always put product information on the back of the package for you to contact somebody. And so if there are problems, then they can be made aware of it. And I think they're kind of getting the message that, some of these joints on some of the figures are a little iffy. But what is really cool about the Superboy, Wonder Girl, and Kid Flash, that Jim Fletcher, the head of DC Collectibles, personally looked at each individual figure and picked out the best replacement figures for us. So a big thanks to Jim Fletcher and Geoff Johns. So again, stay tuned. Right after this, we'll go right into Wonder Girl, and then after that will be Kid Flash. So very excited to get to take a look at these figures. We'll see you guys. Bye.